Can you name any concessions that Vladimir Putin made during this meeting? Have any
I wouldn't name them on your program.
Have any concessions
I wouldn't name
been
them
asked?
on your program. Why would I do that?
Where is the pressure?
Of course, because you can't have a peace agreement. No, you can't have a peace agreement unless both sides give and get. You can't have a peace agreement unless both sides make concessions. That's a fact. That's true in virtually any negotiation. If not, it's just called surrender.
That's Marco Rubio absolutely roasting ABC's Martha Raddatz for trying to turn Trump's diplomacy into a cheap reality show. It's almost like the establishment media can't stand the idea of peace breaking out if Trump's the one who delivers it. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and it looks like Democrats and their media mouthpieces are in full meltdown mode over Trump actually making progress toward peace. Because let's be real, the last thing Washington warmongers want is Trump proving again he's the deal maker who can actually end conflicts. Which is why Marco Rubio's been on a press tour of destruction, dismantling every dishonest hack that tries to twist these talks. Here he is calling out how ridiculous it is for Raddatz to demand delicate negotiation details just to gin up a headline.
And neither side is going to surrender. So both sides are going to have to make concessions. So of course concessions were asked. But what utility would there be of me going on a program and tell you we've wagged our finger at Putin and told him you must do this and you must do that? It's only going to make it harder and less likely that they're going to agree to these things. So these negotiations, as much as everyone would love it to be a live pay-per-view event, these discussions only work best when they are conducted privately in serious negotiations in which people who have to go back and respond to constituencies, because even totalitarian governments have constituencies they have to respond to, people have to go back and defend these agreements that they make and figure out a way to explain them to people. So we need to create space for concessions to be made. But of course concessions were asked. Well, I don't think his mind has changed at all. I think ultimately if this whole effort doesn't work out, then there's going to have to be additional consequences to Russia. But we're trying to avoid that by reaching a peace agreement. And that's not going to be easy. It's going to take a lot of work. I think there were things that were identified in those talks that we just had a couple days ago that made some progress in some directions. Now, obviously, in order for us to get a peace agreement, Ukraine has to be a part of it. They have to be included. They have to be involved. That's why the president called them on the phone immediately after we got on the airplane. Within an hour, he talked to them for long periods of time. That's why President Zelensky will be traveling to Washington tomorrow, along with several European leaders as well, to continue to work on this. We made progress in the sense that we identified potential areas of agreement, but there remain some big areas of disagreement. So we're still a long ways off. I mean, we're not at the precipice of a peace agreement. We're not at the edge of one, but I do think progress was made towards one. But again,
but Secretary Rubio, we don't know what any of that progress is. And the president went into that meeting.
You're not going to.
Okay.
You know, this is where it gets laughable. Raddatz is basically begging Rubio to torpedo the talks in real time, as if revealing every moving part of a delicate negotiation wouldn't sabotage the whole effort. I mean, imagine thinking the art of diplomacy works like a CNN panel. Just blurt it all out for ratings. Rubio wasn't having it. He told her flat out that critics of Trump will always find something to complain about no matter the progress. And he's right. Trump's been crystal clear that he's pushing for a comprehensive agreement, not some flimsy ceasefire. That's why Zelensky just praised their talks as the best yet. The reality is these negotiations are working, and the only people upset about it are the ones rooting for endless war. Here's Raddatz pretending Putin isn't even on the world stage so she can recycle the tired legitimizing an authoritarian shtick.
Critics of President Trump will say the pomp and circumstance, the red carpet, the warm handshake, that President Trump simply lost that Putin gained there just by being on the world stage and walking down a red carpet with the president. Your reaction to that?
Well, I mean, critics of President Trump are always going to find something to criticize. You don't even pay attention to it anymore. But I will tell you this. Putin is already on the world stage. He's already on the world stage. The guy's conducting a full-scale war in Ukraine. He's already on the world stage. He has the world's largest tactical nuclear arsenal in the world and the second largest strategic nuclear arsenal in the world. He's already on the world stage. When I hear people say that, oh, it elevates him, well, all we do is talk about Putin all the time. All the media's done is talk about Putin all the time for the last 4 or 5 years. That doesn't mean he's right about the war. That doesn't mean he's justified about the war. Put all that aside. It means you're not going to have a peace agreement between Russia and Ukraine. You're not going to end a war between Russia and Ukraine without dealing with Putin. That's just common sense. I shouldn't even have to say it. So people can say whatever they want. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we have to get the Russian side to agree to things that they don't want to agree to if we're going to have peace. If not, there'll just be a war. They'll keep killing each other. And life will go on in America and in the rest of the world, but not for Ukraine. So the president has invested a lot of time in trying to bring an end to this war. He deserves credit for doing that. He gets criticism for doing that. He could have just let this war go on. The president could have just said, this is Biden's war. It started under him. We'll do what we can for Ukraine, but we're going to focus on other things. He could have easily said that. But he's the only leader in the world that can get Putin to a meeting to talk about serious things.
You know, it's funny how the Russiagate crowd never runs out of recycled material. Raddatz is still stuck in 2018, pretending Trump sitting down with Putin is some kind of betrayal. I mean, Russia isn't North Korea. This is a nuclear superpower, an energy giant, a key global player whether the elites like it or not. Trump just came out of Alaska with real momentum, progress toward an agreement that could actually end the bloodshed. And what's Raddatz worried about? Optics. She's obsessed with playing gotcha games when the reality is millions of lives are at stake. Rubio had to remind her that concessions are how you build peace, not by clinging to stale talking points. But let me know what you think. Do you think Trump will force through a real peace deal despite Democrats and their media allies trying to sabotage it? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye.